What do we have at the foundation? Wheel of Fortune, Sag energy at the foundation of the reading. Right now, we are currently in a time where we are very clearly seeing a kind of divide taking place. It's as if the entire collective is being split into two groups. There's the people that are on the path of fear, and then there's the people that are on the path of enlightenment. There's a lot of misinformation taking place inside the collective that the individuals that are on the enlightened path can see right through. But then there are those that are actually feeding into this systematic, meticulously crafted hocus pocus against the people. The Wheel of Fortune here is telling us that we are in motion and are preparing to enter into this new timeline. The individuals that refuse to accept the truth and have been mainlining the lie will now step into a reality that they themselves have constructed from this mindset of fear. You're being called to stay focused on your path. And of course, don't believe everything you see and hear. Now's the time where you need to listen to your inner voice of reason and guard your purpose and path at all costs. The threatening nature by which all of you are waking up is what is causing the enemy to accelerate all their tricks against the people. Now's the time, especially with this full moon, which I think lasts about 4 days. By the time this comes out, I think it will be on its maybe last day. But this is a perfect opportunity to be releasing any sort of bad habits or fear-based mindsets that are not going to serve you on your path moving forward. What you do underneath the full moon is the energy that you will solidify yourself in moving forward. So be very mindful of this. If there's a bad habit that you're engaging in that you're trying to quit doing, well, you really want to address this, because if you're doing this underneath the full moon, what you'll find is that once this full moon passes, you're having much more difficulties trying to give this thing up. However, if you address it underneath the full moon, you will feel support in being able to release whatever this is here. Now, we all deal with this. We can all improve something in our life. But the idea here is to really focus on the things that you can control. And what you find is that when you actually focus on what you can control, your exterior environment, the things that you seemingly can't control, begin to reflect the control that you've taken in your own personal life. You're manifesting your own reality based on the things that you can control. Perfect. There's an energy in the collective right now that wants to steal your hope, crush your spirit, tell you that you're not enough. And there's a ramping up of this taking place because the wheel is turning, because you are all stepping into this new timeline, this new life cycle. What do we have? The sacral, please. The Chariot, Cancer energy at the sacral. Okay, so what I'm getting here is a strong message surrounding willpower, which reinforces what I said in regards to doing this releasing at this time, because the astrology, the full moon, is going to support it. A lot of you already know this, but sometimes you just need to be reminded, especially during these times, because there seems to be this very dense energy that is making people feel like, what's the point? But you have to know that it's not you. It's nothing that you've done wrong. It's just the energy that we're all feeling right now. And there seems to be no support. We're looking around at our world and the life we've all been living. And now more than ever, we can see that it's a lie. We've all been lied to. And I think that the people that don't see that or can't admit that, well, God help them, because they're a perfect example of the individuals that are walking the path of fear. Those people that are walking the path of fear are the individuals that keep the system of control well oiled. But you have to remember that you are still here living and breathing. There's no reason to be scared. You need to be confident in the knowing that you're here for a reason and everything is going according to plan. This Chariot is speaking about this forward momentum into this new timeline. We're all being guided right now to begin releasing what we've been carrying for too long, whether it's some sort of memory, maybe a grudge, just anything that falls under this umbrella of fear. Look at all the areas of your life. Where is fear creeping in? That's what you need to focus on right now. Because when you think about it in terms of energy, the things that fall under this umbrella of fear create energetic draggage or energetic weight. There's a lot of tension inside the collective right now, but don't allow it to tear you apart. Remember that you have the power to choose. So you need to charge towards your passions, your purpose, and don't allow the energy to cause you to falter on your path. There's a lot of people right now that are uncertain about the direction they're going. It wasn't even but a few months ago when you were completely certain. And then all of a sudden, a wave of uncertainty has just engulfed the entire collective. Everybody's feeling confused. Everybody's feeling kind of hazy. You have to remember that your new life is going to cost you your old life. So think about where that may pertain to you and what you are dealing with individually. I quite often talk about the admission fee into a new timeline is the release, is the sacrifice. So what in your life needs to be sacrificed right now to free you of some energetic draggage so you're able to step into the new timeline free of the burdens of the past? And then right on the bottom of the deck, I have the Five of Pentacles, Taurus energy. So this is really representing this energy that a lot of us are really being guided to release right now. Five of Pentacles is essentially an umbrella energy that fear and loss falls underneath. And then right here, the High Priestess, so divine guidance. See, you're all being divinely guided, divinely led to release whatever this is here so you can step into this new timeline. Yeah, cutting these energies out. And then the Magician, Ten of Swords, the end. There's a sense here that something is so close to you, but there's this haze, there's this sort of fogginess that I'm picking up on. It's like one step, and there you are, on the new timeline, embracing this new beginning. But it's like this one last step is more difficult than all the steps that came before it combined. Because the devil knows. The devil knows you only have one step left. So he's going in with everything he's got. And what's interesting about that statement is that though that may be happening in your individual life, look at the world. Doesn't it seem like they're going in with everything they've got? Just throwing everything at us, no matter how ridiculous it may be. The lies are absolutely monumental. And the gaslighting, it's award-winning. I mean, they are just really showing us their hand. This is why the time we're living in is so revolutionary. And we always heard that stepping into this new kind of age, some may call it the age of Aquarius, it doesn't really matter, but that sort of Aquarian energy, right, which is all about innovation, the future, this is exactly what we're seeing now. It's all around us. And with all of that, this absurd kind of narrative begins to unearth itself. Something that's always been there, but we are just now seeing being implemented against us in its full capacity. No one's really shocked by anything anymore. No one's really surprised. Everybody's just so beat down and completely demoralized by what we've all gone through over the course of this past year. It's been wearing. This year was a heavy year for a lot of people. I think for everybody. It was one of these years as well. You may have been doing really good in one area of your life, maybe your career, but then in another area, things feel like they're falling apart. It's as if we can't have peace across the board. And I think that enough of us are starting to realize now that it's nothing that we're doing wrong. It's just something that is seemingly outside of our control. Well, for the time being, but the scales always tip. And this is what we are in the process of witnessing and feeling and being a part of right now. What do we have? The solar plexus? Wow. And you know what? I actually knew that I was going to see the Justice card. I just felt it in the energy. There's the scales tipping right there at the solar plexus. And I just heard God removed you without showing you what had been taking place because of how you would have reacted. Okay, now that sounds kind of specific. That may be for just a certain amount of you out there, but I think that a lot of us can really relate to that message in some capacity. And this is something that I have spoken about before in readings, where when we are being guided to leave toxic situations that are no longer serving our highest good, there's a certain kind of exposure that doesn't come to us until after we have been removed, until after we're on a new timeline, or at least on our way. And a lot of this exposure is coming to right now, or it's preparing to. Now, what this can really speak about is you just starting to have different ideas and a different perspective over the struggles that you have faced on your path. You start to recognize that there was something systematic. You start to feel like there was a kind of blueprint behind it all. And then you start to connect it directly to what is taking place inside the collective. Now, this morning I was thinking about how we are living in a time that is very Orwellian. It almost feels like we're in a kind of Hunger Games. A large group of you are waking up to the matrix that we've all been living in. And because of this enemy, whether it's in your own individual life or collectively speaking, is going all in. And they're not even bothering to put the mask on anymore. It's like they know that you know what you know about them. And I just heard it's a silent evil. It's unspoken. What we are witnessing inside the collective right now, and again, even in your own individual lives, it's like something out of a movie. Going through the awakening process is very much just like that. It's like a feeling that you have just woken up inside a kind of movie, that everything around you was strategically placed there just for you, that everybody is an actor or actress in the movie of your life. I have a feeling that a very large percent of you can relate. You know exactly what I'm talking about. This justice card at the solar plexus is telling me the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. Let it loose. It will defend itself. And I heard something recently, and it was that the further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those that speak it. And I feel that this really speaks about this sort of period in our history that we're leaving behind. You think about all the people that have been speaking truth about what we're witnessing now and how much people really attacked them. You know, this can very clearly speak about what a lot of you have dealt with individually. It's like a lot of the truth that you have spoken in your life, people didn't want to hear it. Maybe people thought you were crazy, or maybe people thought you were too out there or didn't know what you were talking about. But what you are starting to witness now is the truth is coming to pass surrounding some of these things that you were speaking about. And I feel that some of you are dealing with individuals that don't want to recognize that. These are the kinds of people that maybe you were trying to wake up at some point in your life. And now it's like they come to you with the same information that maybe you told them years ago. And they say to you, hey, did you know this, that, and the other? Now, I give you this example because this is a perfect representation of how a lot of us feel right now, globally speaking. The same sort of dynamic is something that we see in the media as well. 1 minute, they're passing something off as a lie or a conspiracy theory or just complete lunacy. And then soon after, they're reporting on it like it's something that they just heard about. But whatever the case, this is just the world that we live in now. It's a complete clown show. It's kabuki theater is what it is. The world is a stage. What do we have at the heart, please? 8 of Cups, Pisces energy at the heart. I just heard there's no turning back now. A lot of you are really in this energy where you're finally confronting the truth here. You're not afraid. You see what's what now and very clearly. You are relying on your own 2 eyes and your intuition to tell you what's what. See, they want you to sacrifice your decision-making to feed their hunger for control. And that really says it all. This is something that we can all see now very clearly. This 8 of Cups, this heart position is speaking about just how untrusting you have all become with this opposing energy. I feel the need to say that I'm picking up on 2 different dynamics here. There's what you're all dealing with, again, in your everyday waking lives, the people, the situations, the events, the circumstances. And then on the other hand, it's what we're dealing with collectively. But they're exactly the same. And this is what makes it so surreal. You know, I've spoken before about when I went through my initial awakening, which was from about 2018 to 2020. And as I made my way further into my awakening journey, the world around me started to fall apart. And this is what I feel a lot of you have also experienced. And that's what leaves you with that feeling like, oh, was this all set up this way, right? Really reinforces that kind of matrix theory or the Truman Show, right? Truman Show's another excellent example of what this feels like. Comes to realize that a whole world was constructed around him. In fact, he was living inside a giant dome. He finally found the exit door out of the dome. And when he exited, he was standing in the middle of Hollywood, realizing that he was inside a kind of reality show. His whole life was a movie. All his friends, his family, everybody, they were all in on it. See, the only difference between all your lives and that actual movie, The Truman Show, is that in the movie, all the people knew that they were in on it, right? But I don't think that's the case here in all of your lives. These people don't know what they're doing. They're just NPCs. They're just playing their part. They couldn't figure this all out if their life depended on it. They're just completely mainlined to the lie and to the matrix, and it's just business as usual for them. But what's interesting about this Eight of Cups, it's like the moon is right there, right? It's like the moon is like, are they finally waking up to the truth here? That they're in this kind of simulation? What do we have at the throat, please? Wow. The Tower, Aries energy at the throat. Now we are cooking. This Tower reinforces everything I just said because it's representing this destruction surrounding this false foundation, this false sense of security that you've all had to release, that you've all had to leave behind. This is one of these times where a lot of you are looking back on your childhood and you're like, oh my God, was that just a complete lie? You know, this is not easy to accept. It's very difficult. But there's a reason why all of you have been chosen for this path. You were all here to help shift the collective into this new timeline. However you show up in your own communities, in a big way, in a small way, it doesn't matter. You are all a part of the mechanics of how this goes down. You are all connected by an energetic web, and the divine has strategically placed all of you in very specific locations throughout this world to help with this shift. The divine flipped on a switch, and it's as if in an instant, all of your lives changed. You started to interface with your reality in a way that you never had up until that point. Tower, Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy at this throat position is the most destructive energy in the tarot. This is it. And I would have to say that if there was one card to really represent the collective energy right now, it would probably be the Tower. The Tower is the revelation. The Tower is the wake-up call. Staying awake inside this matrix is really challenging because we all have so much responsibility. And notice how, as time goes on, they weigh us down with even more. They increase the cost of everything. They make it more difficult to live. And when you're so focused on all the finer details of your life, it makes it incredibly difficult to keep your awakening at the forefront of your mind. They know exactly what they're doing, but you need to do your absolute best to keep shining your light during these difficult times. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it defeat you. You have to remember that when you feel that way, it's because they want you to feel that way. You're not feeling that way because it's a natural feeling that you have. It's weapons that are being formed against you. And though you are protected from these weapons because you are on your path, you can still feel this energy when it comes towards you because you're highly empathetic people. You're sensitive to it. What do we have with the third eye? The Fool, card 0 at the third eye. Perfect card to get after that Tower, because that Tower is speaking about the destruction that we are all feeling right now, and the Fool is speaking about the new path, the new beginning, the new adventure that you are all preparing to step into. You know, a lot of you have had to release so much from your life the past few years, especially this past year. I heard someone say the other day, going from having a family to no emergency contact will change a person. And I loved that because I totally relate to that one, right? And I feel that this just speaks about you having to cut out all the toxic people from your life to really accept your path and your mission. And you find yourself, well, alone. You're in a kind of solitude. And I was actually filling something out, I don't know, a few months back, but it had that question on there, emergency contact. I didn't know who to put down. And I laughed. I kind of liked that. It's like you become your own emergency contact, which doesn't make any sense, but I think you guys are picking up on what I'm putting down here. There's just an energy of complete self-reliance here. Just breaking away from this old way of doing things. It's like God is your emergency contact. What do we have at the crown, please? Boom. 10 of Pentacles. Unbelievable. Right there at the crown. So we have all majors in this top row, except for this 8 of Cups. This is a gargantuan energy that I'm looking at here, and it tells a story. This 10 of Pentacles is speaking about your divine inheritance. And despite everything that I've spoken about up until this point, this path here that all of you are on leads you to this. This is what this is all about. This is what's waiting for you on the other side. This energy right here is the blueprint to your legacy. This is how it's done. This is what it takes. This path right here is the most difficult journey that a lot of you have ever had to experience. It's spiritually painful. It's physically draining. It's mentally exhausting, but the payoff is all worth it. Some of you have been hitting some extreme lows lately. It's because of where you are preparing to go. Just know you're not alone. A lot of people are experiencing this in the collective right now. It's like the devil is trying to shake you all off of your path by bringing hardship into your life, however that may show up for you. He'll utilize every tactic just to get you to give up. But no matter how difficult it gets, you must keep pushing forward because you're almost through to the other side. This retrograde season has been one of the most difficult ones in the past few years. A lot of you have just been trying to catch a break. Seems like when you're finally getting one thing under control, something else happens. Something else falls apart. You're hit with some other huge expense. Just seems like it's one thing after another. But you must learn to keep yourself balanced in the face of adversity, because all of these things that want to test you and want to shake you off of your path are all seemingly connected to the material world. I mean, obviously, we all live in the material world, but it's very important that we don't forget the soul of things. The most important thing is your connection with the Most High. And our lives become so consuming that it's difficult sometimes to maintain that connection. We can get lost. Don't allow yourself to become too dependent on anything. Stand confident in the knowing that you can face any struggle head on and get through it because you've done it before. Sometimes you just need to remind yourself that you're still here. You've made it this far, and you'll be damned if you allow anything to take you down now. Ride this thing until the wheels fall off. You can take on this mindset. You can have a lot of fun with it. But simply put, if you do take on this kind of mindset, you will align yourself with blessings far beyond what your mind can even conceive with this Ten of Pentacles next to the Fool at the crown. The Tower is breaking down all of these false securities in your life. The Fool is asking you to step out on faith, be more free-spirited, be more spontaneous, and step into this new beginning, which is your access key to this Ten of Pentacles, this legacy at the crown. What do we have at the foundation, please? Two of Wands, Aries energy, Epis at the foundation. Now, this follows everything I just said perfectly because this Two of Wands from this deck is an energy of fearing the unknown. It's an energy of thinking kind of small, right? It's basically representing everything that you're breaking free of. It's like you're breaking free of the matrix of your life. And then this energy is trying to re-engage you in it. It's like here you are heading towards, see how this Wheel of Fortune, we're looking at it from the back, right? Like we're on approach. So we're not there yet, right? We're seeing the back of this illustration. And then this energy, it's like it's sneaking up behind you. Trying to stop you from moving forward and stepping into this new timeline. What do we have at the sacral, please? Nine of Cups, Pisces energy at the sacral. Now, the Nine of Cups from this deck is an energy that speaks about materialism. And it also speaks about being too indulgent, which reinforces everything I was saying back here about all these areas of our lives that make it so difficult to focus on what truly matters and how it's just increasing. There's no relief, nor is there really no relief in sight. And it's interesting because they'll tell you that there is relief. They'll tell you that things are getting better, but they're actually gaslighting you because you know they are not getting better. In fact, they are getting progressively worse, which is why there's this huge wave of distrust that people are beginning to feel now. The sleeping giant that is the people is waking up. See, they've gotten so used to lying to all of you, gaslighting all of you, that they've now become sloppy. The old lies don't work anymore. Everybody knows. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Wow. Knight of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sag energy at the solar plexus. So here's that energy, literally followed what I just said. This is an energy here that creates a lot of chaos in your lives. It has the ability to systematically arrange things in your life to scatter your energy about. This energy has been very reckless in your life. And at this point, you truly understand that if you didn't accept this truth now for what it really is, you would be the only one to blame because it's completely undeniable. And I just want to mention here that this reading, there's a depth to this, and I don't want to say specific things. So I'm leaving it up to all of you to place this message how you see fit in your life. Okay. What do we have at the heart, please? Two of Cups, Salos, Cancer energy. Says right there, forgetting. So the Two of Cups from this deck is representing this energy that's bringing this imbalance into your lives. It represents this kind of communication breakdown and this overall lack of harmony that you are feeling with these connections in your life. You need to pay attention to what and who you lose when you begin to express your most authentic self. And that really, it just says it all, okay? Because there's something that happens when you awaken to your path. And these opposing energies, this opposing force, some of them can't even really explain it, but it awakens something in them. It's like they have to stop you by all means necessary. How many of you out there have experienced this? You've started to self-empower, you've started to do better, right? It's really just what it is doing better in your life. You have been imposed with different forms of resistance or just an overall sense of realizing that nobody is supporting you. Leave a comment actually down below. I would like to know how many of you know what I'm talking about here. And then on this side of the card, we have the Two of Cups again. So we have it on both sides here. Fruition. So you're in this energy where you have realized your mission, what you need to do. And because of this, this opposing force becomes triggered. In other words, you basically wake up to the matrix in your life. And for some of you, you feel like you have to protect your life, right? Some of you have gone through it more extreme than others. For me personally, I've spoken about this a number of times over the past few years, but when I went through this initially, my whole world turned upside down. The people I was dealing with literally sent someone to kill me because they didn't like the things I was speaking about. They didn't like me speaking about the deep, dark secrets. I wanted to unearth everything because I wanted to heal things. I wanted to make things better. This is a more extreme example of what can happen. It really just depends on what your story is, what your situation is, but it's very real. It's surreal, never quite something that you come to accept. It's paradigm shattering, changes the way you interface with reality. On one hand, you're dealing with the extreme heartbreak, and then on the other hand, you have this lightning bolt that the divine has sent into your life to charge you up and push forward on your path because you know that you have a mission, you know that you have a purpose. And it's interesting when I'm looking at this tower now, right? Like here's the lightning bolt. It's like here's the tower. That could be you in the tower. And then there's like this lynch mob coming for you. See, it's a destruction of a reality, a false kind of security. You start awakening, you start speaking truths, and people don't like it. Rubs them the wrong way. And they'll do everything they can in their power to shut you up. The lengths people will go to try and save their reputation and keep their darkest secrets buried. But then you come along. You were not a part of the plan, or well, you were, but they never thought that you would actually realize that. See, a lot of these people always had a deep knowing too. They may not have been able to quite put their finger on it, but when everything started to unfold the way it did, it began to crystallize. They started to realize as well that the divine sent you into their life because you are their destruction. You are the tower. What do we have at the throat, please? Eight of Wands, Sag energy at the throat. So now we're seeing a lot of very quick movement forward. I'm also getting something surrounding downloads, which makes sense because the tower is bringing the destruction, and then the Eight of Wands is creating the movement. Based on my own experience, when you have a tower unfolding in your life, these are some of these times when you are most closest to the divine, because it speaks about you being ushered into a new timeline, that destruction is taking place and the divine is kind of lifting you up out of it. So allow things to crumble. You're going to be okay. Don't hold on to anything that is not serving your highest good, especially at this time. Remember what I said at the beginning of the reading about the collective being divided into two groups. Fear nothing, absolutely nothing. When I went through this cycle of destruction in my life, when I was going through the awakening process, I lost everything. But when I came out the other side of it and God started to rebuild my life, most everything I lost was replaced with better, but it left me with something that money can't buy. And that's the knowing that I could lose it all again and just as easily build it all again, because I've done it once before. And when you can navigate your life with this sense of, well, it's no fear, right? You'll begin to really move mountains. When you understand what the bottom is and you become comfortable in the knowing that should you ever have to experience something like that again, it's a part of your path for a learning experience, you'll open yourself up to extraordinary miracles to take place in your life. Sometimes if I'm ever feeling a bit down, I try to remind myself this, to snap myself out of it. Right? Why do you feel this way? What's the absolute worst? And then I think about it, and it has a way of kind of snapping me back to myself. And it goes back to what I said about not allowing things inside your material reality to keep you in shackles. Because what we're learning is that when we are in those shackles, we're not able to focus on our path, our purpose, and our mission. And there's nothing more important than that. That's all that matters. And then right on the bottom of the deck, I have the Two of Swords. It says right here, breaking the circle, lifts opposing barriers, brings a victory. So it just really gives me the sense that the divine really wants you to know that where you're going and the way that they're building you up and preparing you for this new cycle, for this new chapter in your life, you're going to be much more resilient, much stronger. You're going to be able to overcome any challenge that you may face. What do we have at the third eye? The Lovers, perfect. Gemini energy at the third eye. So this Lovers card for a spread like this is speaking to me about you and your higher self, right? It's like you come into alignment with your higher self. And because of this, you can overcome any challenge that you face, right? It's like here's the divine, your higher self, rescuing you, helping you navigate this timeline. So it really speaks about how potent your connection is with Source. And it's underneath that Fool card, which is all about stepping out on faith. Stepping out on faith in the knowing that the divine, your higher self, has your back. You cannot fail. And any obstacle that you may face on your path was meant to be there. Sometimes we got to go through obstacles to get to the other side. In fact, almost all of the time we do. The path, the process, it's painful. But again, the payoff is great. It's absolutely worth it. What do we have? The Crown to close out the reading, please. Perfect. The Chariot again. So we have it twice. Michael, who is like God, perseverance, success in conflict, overcoming adversity. And it's like here you are stepping over this beast, right? That just represents whatever it is you're dealing with, whether it's people, situations, principalities. But overall, there's an energy here where you are pushing forward and you are overcoming any of the obstacles, again, any of the adversity that is placed on your path. So right now, it's very important that you're not lingering in the comfort that you have outgrown. You need to really let go and step forward and trust enough in the unknown and have faith to actually take that leap. There's this open door to the next version of yourself, but you've got to take the first step. The divine has got your back here. It's very clear. There's a tremendous amount of support here. And I feel that you're all on the threshold of becoming, right? Becoming this new you. So remember, you're still here living and breathing. So you need to buckle up for the ride because you are the saints of tribulation and you are preparing to take flight. This is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. and thank you for your donations. Take care.